This is an interview of my great-grandmother, Rose Marshall, age 78, who came to this reserve in September 1924. On her marriage to my great-grandfather, Sandy Marshall, Grandma was born in Waikagma, but spent most of her childhood in Truro Reserve. At that time, Indians loved to celebrate special occasions. For example, my great-grandparents were married in Truro, and their wedding feast was celebrated for 3 days. Then they came down here and they had another celebration which also lasted for 3 days. Grandma's interview starts out. When I first came here, and even when I lived in Truro, we used to have a Pestie'wa'taqatimk. We would start out from one house, then we would have people join the group as we walked down the road, and we would eat and take presents to people. People celebrated this in Waikagma, Truro, Barrowhead, and every reserve. When we got to the house of the person, Pestie'wa'taqatimk, for instance, if it was a man, a shirt or necktie and socks would be given to him. People would have a meal together in this house, and then we would go to another house. If this was a woman to be Pestie'wa'taqatimk, we would give a gift like a dress, pillowcase, or sheet. The people who were honored would be given a decorated flower shaped like a cross. There was lots of food to eat, and we would be lots of people. Then we would go to the next house, and this would continue until all the people were honored. Sometimes it was 1 or 2 o'clock when the time was over, and at the last house a dance would be held.
Pestie'wa'taqatimk were feasts celebrated between Christmas Day and Epiphany, January 6th. The purpose of these events were to honor people with saints' names like Noel, Stephen, John, Teresa, Louis. On the first night of these celebrations, parties were given for Noels and Stephens. This was the Christmas Day night. This was a party in which the whole community participated. The people gathered at the community hall. Then the visiting started. Everybody walked. The party goers started out from one end of the reserve, and usually by the time the last house was visited, it was daylight of the next morning.
Preparation. The honored host, he would have the meal ready. People had these special occasions, cooked traditional Mi'kmaq food like Indian corn, eels, moose meat, rabbit stew, etc. The community. A carved cross would be prepared ahead of time. A religious medal would be pinned on the cross. The person would also be presented a gift of clothing, and sometimes it was money. One person was the presenter of the crossing gifts, and another was in charge of the rifle. For a salute was also given at the host's house. A singer for the chants would be picked.
Very good.
What took place at the host house? When the people arrived at the honored host house, they would holler out a greeting at the door, "Kwe." Then the host would answer with an invitation by saying, "Majalasi," or "come in." At this time, the only who goes in is the presenter of the cross. After the invitation is said, the presenter walks in while saying Kedamu, whatever. And then as he hands over the cross to the honored host, he says, Ulataswegam, Saboanu, Nagwegam, Kudansalem, Vegetables. Then turning to the crowd at the entrance, he hollers out a signal for the salute, Nige. Then the guns go off. Before the crowd goes inside, the presenter asks if the people might permit it to dance. When he says yes, the crowd walks in with the head chanter and the head. He sits down in the center and starts chanting while the people dance the old Indian dance. After the dances were over, the feast was served. The banquet table was the floor. Everybody sat Indian fashion on the floor. After the meal, the crowd would depart for the next house.
That was just a practice run there. I didn't know around this.
Tweet down na. Kita kamu? What took place at the host house? When the people arrived at the honored host house, they would holler out a greeting at the door, Kwe. Then the host would answer with an invitation by saying, Majilasi, or come in. At this time, the only one who goes in is the presenter of the cross. After the invitation is said, the presenter walks in while saying, Kedakamuk. After and then as he hands over the cross to the honored host, he says, Ulataswegam, Sabono, Nagwegam, Kudansalem, Vegetables. Then turning to the crowd at the entrance, he hollers out a signal for the salute, Nige. Then the guns go off. Before the crowd goes inside, the presenter asks if the people might permit it to dance. When he says yes, the crowd walks in with the head chanter and the head. He sits down in the center and starts chanting while the people dance the old Indian dance. After the dances were over, the feast was served. The banquet table was the floor. Everybody sat Indian fashion on the floor. After the meal, the crowd would depart for the next house.
Barbara?
Ulataswegam, Sabono, Nagwegam, Kudansalem, Vegetables.
presentations, and after that we're going to sing. Okay? That's all right?
Just stay looking at Barbara.
Look at me.
Look at Barbara, please.
Smile.
Please look at her. DJ, look at Barbara.
Are you all ready to sing as soon as I finish?
Want to put that plate back towards where she was?
Will we do the presentation bit over again? Okay. I'll have to take your gifts away from you.
That's television for you.
Again, and when you get them tonight, you can keep them. Listen, do you want to take him out? Yeah, it's okay. He doesn't want to be here. Then we're going to sing.
That's why the kids did all the weekend, for an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
Okay, anytime, Mark. I'm ready here.
Kita ladas wegam sabona nagogam credentialing videos. Nige.
Okay, you people can take your places to sing. What is it?
Away in a manger, silent night, deck the halls, jingle bells, and we wish you a Merry Christmas. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, babe, Stephen, stand still. Jason, Donna, look this way. All of you look this way, okay?
But you know what,